I am delighted to see that this bigoted, hostile, inhuman Home Secretary has drawn opprobrium from her own party. People in the Conservative Party, including ministers, have complained to the Chief Whip about Suella Braverman's recent speech, her attempt to curry favour and put one foot in the door of number 10. It was misjudged. One of the things that she claimed was that attempting to be a refugee by claiming to be gay was to game the system. What an absolutely intolerant and ill-judged, ill-educated person she is. Her assumption that people are lying is not civilized. This is the sort of, I've seen all this before. I've seen all of this before when I was living in Greece. And I remember talking to refugees, and I remember a really startling conversation where a refugee who was gay was asked to prove it and was asked utterly insensitive questions with the assumption that if you are gay, you're automatically passive and this led to a very inappropriate conversation. I think Suella Braverman should resign. I've thought this for a long time. It was an impulsive response initially. It's been backed up by example after example of her inappropriate, ill-considered, ill-judged, lazy thinking, going all the way back to her hostility and, frankly, her racism towards Albania and Pakistan. And she hides behind her title and behind this office which does so little. She's signed contracts with hotel firm after hotel firm which binds us to the £8 million a day fee. Whether she reduces the number of refugees or not, we are bound to pay that fee. This is the absurdity of the propaganda battle that she is waging. She is simply driving up the expense and then blaming it on migrants. The Conservative Party, as long as it clings to Suella Braverman and her ideas, deserves not only to be wiped out in the next election, but never to achieve office again. It is abhorrent. And I'm speaking as somebody who stood for the Conservatives. This is not a party I recognise. This has truly moved over the boundary into something very nasty but pernicious. Not just nasty. This is something that is wrong. And as I say, I've seen it all before. And I've seen hostility to migrants. I was in Greece at the time when the pushback policy began, and I've seen that level of hostility. I've seen it in other countries as well. And I've seen the mistreatment of Albanians simply because they're Albanians in Greece. I've been involved in a fight against torture. And the idea that people are not tortured in safe countries is as absurd as so much else that Suella Braverman has put out. As absurd. I can well imagine a situation where somebody seeks refuge from a so-called safe country. There are many reasons why that may be the case. And Suella Braverman is somebody who has a background in immigration law, knows exactly the sort of deceit she is peddling. And I don't think we should have somebody who is a senior member of the British cabinet who is a liar and who misrepresents reality, a reality that she must know simply for some sort of ideological and career advantage. Apparently, Downing Street signed off her speech. I cannot imagine why. And I cannot imagine why Rishi Sunak would then contradict her concept of multiculturalism. Rishi Sunak today made it quite clear that he appreciated multiculturalism and that he is a beneficiary of multiculturalism. I think there's a much bigger debate that is needed about multiculturalism, but certainly Braverman's language and her approach to these things doesn't enrich that debate. I think she has to go, and I hope the number of MPs who contact the Chief Whip, I hope the number of constituents who contact their MPs to complain about this pernicious, vile and thoughtless individual will hasten that departure. It cannot come too soon.